All right, good Monday evening. I'm 5 News Chief Meteorologist Matt Standridge. We've had several rounds for thunderstorms this evening and earlier this afternoon. The cold front itself, though, is getting closer. So what does it look like for the rest of this evening? We want to talk about where the storms are right now and where they're going to be the next couple of hours and overnight tonight. As you're just trying to get some sleep, you're trying to head into your Tuesday. Hopefully you're not up too late with the storms. How are things looking? So we're going to take a look at what's happened so far and what's happening and what's going to happen here in the next couple of hours. As we get things ready, we got the live stream coming up, and so I'm going ahead and getting a couple things together here on our systems. It takes just a second, but hopefully you guys hasn't been too bad in your neighborhood. We're watching some things weakening. That's the big highlight here. That's good news for us. Couple parameters when it comes to the atmosphere are starting to fall apart. The south wind, a couple thousand feet above our head, is starting to weaken. That's good news for us. That's something that we want to hear. That's starting to reduce our threats. I'm going to show you where that comes into play and who's really getting impacted by that. But if you have the 5 News app, go ahead and let us know what you're seeing out there. And if you want to comment on some of our social platforms, let us know what you've seen. We've had power flashes in Sequoia County. We've had funnel clouds there in Logan County and Johnson County. So we've had our taste of some severe weather. And then earlier today, in near the Hot Springs Village area, just outside Jessieville, they had a tornado touchdown. Impacted parts of the high school, some of the homes around the high school too. We have an update from our sister station, Little Rock, coming up tonight at 10. You want to tune in for that, an update from Jessieville. But right now, we're still watching a few thunderstorms press on through. So we're getting an update ready for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the second day of January. Guys, it was in the 70s today. It should not be that way. You step outside, you think, something's going to happen. Something's got to happen. And things have happened in certain locations, but in some of us, we really kind of scooted by not too bad. I mean, there's rain. But that's not too bad. Not too bad here for 70s in January. So, all right, let's go. So we got a cold front back off towards the west. This thing is helping to spark some of the storms. However, there's different layers to the atmosphere. It's not all just one thing. And so what we're noticing here at the ground level, things are looking pretty healthy from a storm's perspective. We still have temperatures in the 60s and 70s. That's just fine for storms. It's kind of hitting the bare minimum on a few things. You really want to be definitely in the 70s, but we are doing okay there. But when you go higher up, things are a little bit different. So we've got some winds to talk about. You see these winds off towards the west? These are the high upper level winds. These are the winds where you're flying on an airplane. This is the kind of wind that's hitting you. That's the main jet stream. The jet stream has slowed down. We've noticed the past hour or so. It's really slowed down, and so it's not lined up with the storms. Storms love the jet stream. When it's back off farther towards the west, though, they're not connected. These storms are trying to pop up. They're ready to go. They're using the 60s and 70s, but they don't have that wind to help fire them up even more. That's good news for us, bad news for the storms. And so that's why you see these. Some of these cells have been pretty heavy. You've noticed them especially in Fayetteville, Bentonville. We had some good rounds in Clarksville and Paris, and Sequoia County. We had that tornado warning for a while. But they don't have the jet stream. They don't have it. Things are not quite lining up here in the final hours of the severe weather event. That is good news for us. We've also noticed the south wind that's more about 1,000 to 4,000 or 5,000 feet above the ground. So it's not what you feel, but it's just barely above us, but not as high as the jet stream. Lots of different layers. It is starting to slow down. We need that wind to pump in more rotation. We're just not doing it right now. We have some rotation. There is some, but not enough to really get these things going. We've noticed a lot of times our cells, they spin up, they get a tornado warning for about 5-10 minutes, and then it kind of starts to slow down and it just produces a lot of rain. So it's been kind of wonky with this storm system, but we are watching still some cells push on through. So let's take a closer look at what has happened, and then we'll time out what you can expect the rest of this evening. But first, this is what happened earlier this afternoon. Meteorologist Zach Scott and I were watching this rotation, and we had reports of funnel clouds in these locations. Really went from Paris, crossed the Arkansas River, and then headed towards the west side of Clarksville, mainly from the high school and westbound towards Cole Hill. Some folks saw that funnel cloud. As far as we know, we don't have any reports of it touching the ground. Let us know if you have any reports of it briefly touching the ground. If you do, we'll send those off to the National Weather Service. They may come out and take a look. But for now, only a funnel is what we saw from most reports so far this evening. All right, so that's what happened in the River Valley, the kind of the scariest thing you would say. But then in Sequoia County, we probably did have a tornado touchdown, at least briefly. There were power flashes reported there near Highway 64. If you look closely on the map, this is the racetrack, the Sallisaw racetrack. Just north and west is where we had some power flashes. So somewhere between the racetrack and McKee. If you guys have some extra details, let us know in the chat what you saw or what maybe someone told you, what you heard. Anything like that helps in these situations. You know, sometimes we play the telephone game and sometimes it gets kind of weird, but let us know what you may have seen, especially in Sequoyah County. You can see Sallisaw is back off towards the east. We're mainly okay in Sallisaw. It's really just outside of town and just past the racetrack. But let us know, you know, sometimes some other folks could have seen other power flashes. And you're wondering, why do you care about power flashes? Generally, when you see a power flash, something is making contact with the ground. It could be a possible tornado. Sometimes these things can touch the ground for only 30 seconds. They can come and go really quickly. And so that's something that the National Weather Service may come out and take a look at. Now, as of, I believe it was around 8:30, we're doing some checks. We don't have any power outages to necessarily talk about in Sequoyah County, at least when it comes to overall, and that depends on the reporting systems in the area too. But let us know if you know anything about the Sequoyah County storm. On top of that, really wonky tornado watch. Notice there's a break. We've got tornado watch that still continues for southern Arkansas, but you get towards the western half of the state, and why is there a break for some of the river valley, especially east? Usually it's kind of the opposite way around. A couple things to talk about. We still have some energy in the atmosphere. There's something called instability fuel for thunderstorms. Remember how that jet stream's not quite in play? What's really going on is the National Weather Service is saying, okay, look, we've got some of the ingredients. We're lacking on some other things. We're going to keep the tornado watch for now. It goes until 10 o'clock. Probably just going to go ahead and let it expire at 10 o'clock. We'll let you know if there's any county that has been pushed back farther into the night in western Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma, but this is probably just going to be allowed to expire around 10. Left it up just in case because we do still have some storms here and there. Some of us are getting good downpours right now, but not everyone. But if you are, you're thinking, wow, it's loud out here. We got some lightning, we got some rumbles of thunder, but we don't have all the ingredients coming together, especially when it comes to that jet stream. So keeping this one. Now, farther towards the east, sorry, excuse me, we've had several thunderstorms hit us in Johnson County, Logan County, and Scott County to the point where there's not a lot of energy left. So the yellow county shows some pockets of energy. It's not all, you know, atmosphere is a fluid. Different things are in different places. We've got good energy right along the state line, but you get towards Paris and Boonville and Clarksville and Waldron, there's not a lot of energy to work with. And on top of that, we don't have the jet stream really coming in very strong at the moment, and that's probably not going to change the next couple of hours. We kind of needed it now, to be honest, and we're just not quite there yet. And so that's why it's been allowed to expire. You go to southern Arkansas, I'm kind of standing behind over it. You guys probably get out of the way, Matt. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings. We got even a tornado warning south of Little Rock. So we still have a ways to go, especially in southern Arkansas. They've got some better energy as you go farther towards the south. But storm's still crossing the state line right now. Take a closer look at some of these cells as they come in from Siloam Springs. We've had multiple rounds in Siloam Springs, and since we've had those rounds, some of these storms have been struggling just a little bit. But as we look for the next 5-10 minutes, we'll probably just get downpours continue to come into western Benton County. Fayetteville, we had a good downpour. In Springdale, Johnson, good downpours about an hour ago. Those are now pushing over Beaver Lake towards Eureka Springs. And then more downpours continue to funnel into the mountains, but they just don't have as much rotation in them right now. That wind is actually weakening a bit, a couple thousand feet. So that's good news. But from the storm's perspective, it's not enough to really spin so much. There's some rotation, but not enough to produce a tornado at this time. If anything changes, we'll let you know. What we've noticed is a lot of the storms in the eastern Oklahoma area now are struggling. See these little cells and they just kind of fall apart. And that may be the story for the next several hours as the front passes on through. Once the front passes on through, which remember is just towards our west, you're done. You're good, and we're good for the next couple of days too. Looking at some of the rotation in the storms, very messy, little rotations here and there. Nothing to really worry about at the moment, and that'll continue for the next couple of hours. We're still warm enough, but the wind's just not there. A little higher up. Several different atmosphere layers to look at. A couple thousand feet up, we're just not quite there yet. And so we are watching kind of these storms fall apart. We just want to hop on, let you guys know what we're seeing. There could still be a stray thunderstorm in the next couple of hours as the front is pushing on through, but a lot of severe threats have gone down. Could you get a stray severe thunderstorm warning? Maybe even a very stray tornado warning? Sure, and we'll be here to track it for you. But it looks like a lot of it's starting to diminish. So that is some great news, especially in southeastern Oklahoma. We've been worked over a little bit earlier today, and parts of the southern river valley. We've been worked, but we still are watching a couple downpours coming in northwest Arkansas. So far, we're doing okay. This live look in Springdale, where we've had some of the rain. Now you're kind of getting a little fog because of all the water that we've already picked up. But we just wanted to hop on, let you guys know what we're seeing. You know, we're going to let you know if storms are getting worse. We're going to let you know if the atmosphere's not doing so hot. That's good news for us. Not so much good news for the storms, but we'd rather keep it that way. We're going to have our newscast coming up here at 10 in just a couple moments. We're going to get ready for that, but as always, make sure you keep it here, keep it local, and we'll keep you advised.